Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. This is still Hayden Lupitagastas Jr. and in this video, we will tackle about protein synthesis. So let's go.
Protein synthesis. So, what are proteins? So, yung proteins po are tiny molecules inside cells and they are required for all structure and function inside cells. So, kailangan talaga ng protein para nag-function yung cells. So, without them, our cells couldn't do their jobs and we would die. Simple. So like the furniture in our houses, proteins wear out over time. So our cells are continuously making new proteins kasi nga kung walang proteins, so hindi nagpa-function yung mga cells. So this process is called the protein synthesis. Kaya ayun. Kaya pala meron protein synthesis kasi nga yun. So there are two steps in protein synthesis. We have transcription and translation. So DNA is the ultimate blueprint for all the cell and holds all the instructions for making proteins. So, di ba yung DNA diyan matatagpuan yung mga instruction and information sa lahat ng mga ginagawa ng cells. So, sa making ng proteins, nandyan din sa DNA. And DNA is so important that the cell wants to make copies of it to use in protein synthesis instead of moving the actual DNA around the cell. So, napakahalaga talaga ng DNA. So, yung DNA is like our birth certificate. Yung, di ba, kumukuha tayo ng mga forms of identification. So, nagpe-present lang tayo ng copy, hindi yung actual print of our birth certificate kasi nga mahalaga yun. So kung mawala yun, so parang kulang na lahat. So the copy of DNA is called mRNA or the messenger RNA, which is another molecule that holds information in the cell. So di ba para magawa yung protein synthesis, kailangan niya yung DNA. Pero sa sobrang importante ng DNA, hindi nila mailabas yung totoong DNA, kaya gumagawa na lang sila ng copy ng DNA. Ang tawag nito ay ang mRNA or the messenger RNA. So the process of transcription copies DNA to mRNA using protein called RNA polymerase. So pagkatapos itong copy, so the mRNA is sent to a compartment of the cell called a ribosome, which does the next step, the translation. So after nito makopy, so yung mRNA, so pupunta naman sa ribosome. And then, dun na nagagawa yung second step ng protein synthesis, which is the translation. So yung ribosome are compartments of the cell required for protein synthesis. So during translation, which is the second step, they read the mRNA and tell another molecule called the tRNA or the transfer RNA to get the building blocks for proteins or amino acids. So, ito po yung mga building blocks ng proteins, yung amino acid. So, the ribosome strings together the amino acids according to the instructions in the mRNA or yung copy ng DNA. So, after all the amino acids are put together, the protein folds up into a functional shape. So proteins, like we mentioned, are responsible for all structure and function inside cells. And all cells need proteins, not just our cells. So, lahat po ng cells, yung sa plant cells, sa animal cells, we really need proteins. Kasi kung walang proteins, hindi nagpa-function yung cells. So, yun po yung transcription and translation sa kanilang small overview or definitions kung ano ang ginagawa nila. Simple definitions. Why protein synthesis so important? So, bakit nga ba? So, humans are a type of animal. So, our cells are considered animal cells, right? So, to understand how important proteins are in our cell, so, let's take a look to an example kung anong mangyayari pag yung may problema sa protein synthesis o may problema sa paggawa ng protein synthesis. So, protein called RB with the full name retinoblastoma protein is responsible for controlling how often our cells divide. So, specifically in cells in the retina, an important part of our eyes. So, itong si RB is responsible for controlling kung magkano o how often our cells divide. If cells divide out of control, we get cancer. Some people have a mutation or a change in the DNA in the instructions for making RB. So, these people don't have a functional RB protein, so their cells grow out of control and they get retinoblastoma or cancer of the eye. So, ito po ang mangyayari pag may problema sa protein synthesis ng isang tao. On the other hand, plants are a crucial part of our ecosystem as all other organisms depend on plants to get energy. So, plants use a process of called photosynthesis to turn carbon dioxide, so we know all of it. Kasi nga, na-cover po natin ito sa last video natin. So this happens through a series of chemical reactions that are made possible by proteins. Yan. So, simple. Kung wala ang proteins, hindi po napafunction yung mga cells natin. So, yun po yung protein synthesis. Short and simple definition of protein synthesis. Hope may na-learn po kayo sa aking video ngayon. And thank you for subscribing. Hope to see you again. And God bless. Thank you.